Welcome. You're listening to The Aligned Self, Conversations in Creating a Conscious and Abundant Life. This is Daniel Denovi. I'll be your guide and host. Let's see just where we can take this. Hello, friend, and welcome into this Quotable Monday. Before we get started, I want to remind you, the listeners, that I do have one spot left in my unlimited coaching program. You can learn more about that at yesdaniel.com. But basically, you have access to me as many times as you want, as many times as you need over the course of a year. Now, in the last episode where I mentioned this, I may have said that I had 2 spots left. Well, I now just have one because one was taken today. And there is only 1 spot left because, frankly, I only work with a limited number of people one-on-one at any given time. Because, frankly, when I work with you, I want to make sure that I give you my dedicated focus and attention. And that's what you get. I admit that this program, this unlimited coaching program, is not for everyone. It's not designed to be for everyone. But it is the right fit for the right person. Only you know if it appeals to you. Now, I do need to say that after this 1 spot is filled, this particular offer, this one particular package, is going to go away. It's not going to be available again at this price. I'm creating something completely different in 2023. So if the thought appeals to you to work with me one-on-one for me to assist you to realize your goals and dreams, then by all means, check it out. Because very likely, this opportunity is just for you. And so again, to learn more, you can go to yesdaniel.com and look up the unlimited coaching package. Well, now on to our quote for today. And it is in the realm of manifesting energy and consciousness. And the quote comes from physicist Fred Alan Wolfe. Now, you may know Fred Alan Wolfe from his appearance in the film What the Bleep. But Fred said this: consciousness is the creative element in the universe. Without it, nothing would appear. Now, to really put some meat behind that, I need to talk about the Copenhagen Interpretation. And what the Copenhagen Interpretation basically says is that a quantum particle, the smallest aspect of matter, does not exist in one state or another, but actually in all its possible states at the same time. It doesn't coalesce into a particle or a wave unless it is observed. So it requires an observer and the influence of consciousness. Now, I think many people get confused or may have an inaccurate conception of consciousness. So many doctors and scientists take the position that consciousness arises from our brain activity. But the way we're talking about consciousness is that it is the organizing principle, also referred to as the quantum field, or sometimes just the field, a field of all probabilities. Another way to think about consciousness as an organizing principle is in our bodies, because science has yet to be able to identify that spark of consciousness where 2 cells join together and suddenly life is created. The potentiality of life is created. That process, that moment, cannot and has not been defined yet. Who knows, maybe someday, but it certainly is not in the purview of the understanding of how it happens. And doctors have no idea how you heal. They can set up the conditions, they can maybe enable you, facilitate the process, but they cannot induce healing in and of its own. They basically set up the conditions to where your body will heal itself. Now, when we look at the body, and I've talked about this before, that the body consists of 50 to 100 trillion cells, because each cell goes through the process of reproduction, replication. It eats, it excretes, it communicates. And you might ask, what does a cell communicate about? Well, essentially, 2 things. Am I in danger or am I in growth? Because those are 2 completely different states, and there's 2 completely different processes that have to go on. Because if you're in danger, you're in a protective mode. You rally the forces in a completely different way than you would if you're in growth or if you're in love. So it could be stated in simple terms that the body is either in the state of love or in the state of fear. But going back to these cells, you can take a small collection of cells and take them out of the body and place them in the appropriate medium in a petri dish to where they can nourish themselves at the right temperature, and given the right conditions, they will replicate independent of the body. Now, when these cells are examined under an electron microscope, they emanate a bioelectric field. They communicate via photons, or in other words, microscopic packets of light. There is no nervous system, yet they can still communicate with each other. How do they do that? Well, each cell, in and of itself, is a small field of consciousness. Collectively together, they form your other-than-conscious mind. You have a field of consciousness. And that field of consciousness, through quantum entanglement, is actually connected to all that is. Another way of thinking about this is if you were to take a glass and dip it in the ocean. And inside that glass, it would contain all that is in the ocean. Yet one could absolutely say that is not the ocean. Yet it is an aspect of the ocean. So you are an aspect of all that is. You are an organizing principle in the universe. How you direct your thoughts, how you direct your emotions, your energy, directs the universe, directs the material world to form according to your thoughts. Now, it's when your thoughts are in alignment with all that is. You see, in the universe, there are no mistakes. Everything is intentional. Now, some people say that's coincidental or that is random. Yet, in chaos theory, it says that things look like chaos, or it appears as chaos, only because of your position of observation. If you get far enough out or you have a big enough view, then there's an implicate order in everything. There is a universal intelligence that is interwoven in everything, all things. In the early days of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, it was a bedrock principle that two quantum objects would not influence each other if separated by time and space. That was considered a principle of locality. Yet, Einstein and some of his contemporaries noticed that quantum mechanics permitted spooky action at a distance, meaning that some particles would mirror each other, influence each other, even if separated by great distances, time and space. They referred to it as spooky action at a distance because it didn't fit their model, didn't fit their perception of what should happen. Yet, they observed that it did happen, but they couldn't explain it. Today, we reference that as quantum entanglement, where quantum objects, depending on their state, can mirror each other and correspond with each other even if they're non-local, meaning that they're separated by great distances, time and space. They've even conducted experiments on the space station, influencing the results of an experiment from Earth. Imagine that you have a particle in the quantum field, or a collection of particles that morph in and out of state, in and out of existence, based on the observer. Quantum entanglement says that there are some particles that mirror each other across huge distances. In fact, space and time are not a factor at all. This is the essence of law of attraction. Like attracts like. Because not all particles mirror each other, just certain particles do. That is like attracts like. That's how you can attract things on the quantum level, when you create a state of alignment with that which you desire. So that's why Fred said this: consciousness is the creative element in the universe. Without it, nothing would appear. You, my friend, are an active ingredient in all that is. You can create and be anything you want, do anything you want, if you align your heart with your mind and your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Well, that's it for this Monday. Take that and sit with it and just contemplate the idea that you are the force inside your world. You are the creative force in your world, your relationships, and all you experience. Until next time, this is your friend and host, Daniel Denovi, urging you to follow your bliss. Live your life from inner signals. Be inner directed as you engage in the epic adventure.